All right, what's up, guys? Let's get after it. Thanks for joining the stream. I know a lot of you are here with me basically every day, so it's an absolute pleasure, doing this trading journey with all of you guys. We got a lot more to continue to strive for here together. But yeah, let's get after it. So thank you guys for liking, subscribing. I know you guys, a lot of you share the stream since I do this for free every day. So much love to everyone for just being dope. If you guys aren't in the free community, feel free to scan this QR code on the left so you can be part of everything that we're doing in there. We have tons of resources, classrooms, just sessions from A to Z, whether it's how to start your trading journey, understanding how to build the system, the psychology of trading, smart money, some technicals, a whole bunch, putting everything together, and then just the community sharing ideas, getting feedback, improving, knowing what, when not to do, a whole bunch of stuff. For the private stuff, I'll get into that a little bit later. I know a lot of you are starting to scan there. I'm going to announce something very, very unique today as well. But let's get into the charts. Let's have some fun over here. So, all right, here we go. Okay, so I want to go over a couple things first, and I'm going to kick things off with. We're going to get to indices because I do believe in. I do think we have some things setting up here with indices, a couple ideas that I'm considering here. And since we have New York open in a little under 12 minutes, I do think we have multiple buying scenarios over here that we can take advantage of. Some of these may play out first. We may go for two. But we'll see. So I'm going to dive into this in a second. Before I dive into that, though, I do want to go over a couple ideas that we went over yesterday. For example, yesterday we talked about a couple ideas here with silver. So I was curious to see if anybody took advantage of the short. This came into this zone yesterday, a little bit after we were live, and then it came in again. So depending on how you wanted to approach this, silver tackled on that zone that we were looking for, right over here, around 10:45 a.m. Chicago time. Straight out of the zone. If you decided against it, then I also kind of understand. Market was starting to push pretty bullish, but by the time it was this, you could have at least taken a good 2R plus. So just curious to see that. I wasn't on the charts during this time, so I was on a walk. So anyway, unfortunately for me, wasn't able to dive in there. But yeah, good play so far. Let me pull up the chat. Let me see what's good. What's good with the peeps? The tradetopians. Okay, hold up. And then feel free to go ahead. I know you guys have people that are part of just your trading circle. So let's get them in here. Let's trade together. All right, morning. What's up, everyone? Ibraneth, DeAndre, what's good? Corey, Ruben, missed you on the session yesterday, man. Morning, Michael. What's up, Netherlands? The trade not taken is better than the trade that was forced. 1,000%. Patrick, how are you doing? Good morning. Grand Rising. Gabriel, ¿cómo estás? Buenos días a todos. Todo Latam. Yo, what's good, Joe? Amy, we got Seth. Cesar. Igle, what's up? Un gusto tenerte aquí. 100% todo. Siempre. Me da alegría ver tu nombre por aquí. Linda. Justina, this song is a vibe. Hopefully you Shazammed it. What's up, Hector? What's up, Edwin? Buen dia. What up, Nancy? Long time no see. Stefania. What's good, Jesus? I got a 2R on silver. What a guy. Wasn't on the charts, but wouldn't take it. Also didn't make lower low, so I wouldn't take it anyways. Was a C setup for you? Well, that's nice. C setup. Okay. Yeah, I mean, on this structure, we're seeing I had low here, more lows here, so it felt decent. Cool. Okay, so yeah, that's what we got going on there. Oil, we're still working our way down and down and down. After yesterday's New York Open, we did get a good amount of momentum to the upside here, followed by creating these lower lows. So I was interested, or I am interested, in a possible short on oil. We start creating some resistance right over here, right there. And then from here, we see the market pick up quite a bit of momentum. And so definitely there's a whole bunch of orders that open up right here, driving price higher, luring in with the beginning of this New York session. So going with this momentum, breaking resistance like this triggers buy stops, takes out sellers. It looks like we see a little mitigation out of this right here, and then we see this just work its way down. So after yesterday spending the rest of New York session, Asian session, London session, this is where we get to now. So I do like sells for oil over here. I would be more inclined to taking shorts a little bit higher in the zone. Let's say like the lowest I would take a position would be like right there. So really like this zone here is kind of more where I'm focused on. For shorts, and I think a setup like this could bring us closer to the idea I had over here. But worst case, I think we just take out these lows, fill in some imbalance. This looks like a 3.5R opportunity, in my opinion. So that's oil. Not necessarily in a rush for that. So I'm going to actually shift our focus over to indices before I get too carried away. But yeah, this is an idea, a brand new idea that has come to light. So let me just quickly start to get the people going. All right. So let's just call these, let's see, setups. It's 27, 2025. All right, oil. Cool. Save you guys some time. Go ahead and just get the image here. Okay. Bang. Bang, bang. Keep this up here. I'm sure we'll edit this soon. Okay, so let's get to indices. Right now, we're starting to see a difference in Dow and NASDAQ. Not a huge difference. So we have a couple key ideas, right? Yesterday, if we go back down to right after New York Open, we saw the market sweep liquidity here. When it pushes down to this level right there, right over here, we see this push to the low. S&P is what actually gave us a really clean mitigation right there. So ES for me was the absolute trade of the day, just going crazy. From there though, we see the market, a lot of sideways movement, a lot of squeezing, and I didn't see us push down enough to get down to this level. So we do dip down with NASDAQ, and we clear up a couple hours worth of buyers into this imbalance here. So I do want to show right here we clear liquidity. We get it into this imbalance. But I did have the market going a bit lower. Right? I have this pushing further down into not just the imbalance, but where we see a final push down with NQ. So right over here, we see another move to the downside. And I want to just highlight this. How we have confidence on where money comes in to push the market down. And, you know, we start to sell off pretty strongly from up here, just to give you guys perspective. And then we stop right here. So I did go into the smaller time frames for this. And here is where we see another push all the way down before the market continues. And that's where we take out all of this liquidity. So the market bouncing out of this zone, to me, looks more like the basically closing this order block. So let me just give you guys even more context right here. It comes right down to here. So to me, it looks like we kind of trade right out of this zone. So we have the sell-offs right there. So it looks like we just close this out and then push lower. So I still think there's a chance we can get higher here. That's why right now, with how NASDAQ pushed down and then rallied, if you look at the way Dow Jones moved along, it has a similar move. So look at Dow over here. Pushes all the way down, and then it just rips. Absolutely goes on a rampage over here. So the question is, what are we gonna what are we gonna get? Are we gonna have Dow get to this zone and then we can take a clean buy setup out of here? What about NASDAQ? Is NASDAQ gonna be what gives us the opportunity? Right? Which one's it gonna be? So it seems like Dow might be the lagger today. Like we might get down here last with Dow Jones. Now, on the other hand, could there be sells? And also, just to add one more bit of information, we do have S&P with the exact same idea as well. Looks like, as usual, like I like to say, right, S&P is being the middle child of the group. On top of that, and I know one last bit of information would be how things went with Dow over here. So during the end of New York session, we see the market spike down right there. This was the last move to the downside. There was some liquidity here building up, and then everything bounces. So we see a move like this, and then let me just zoom out now. So could we get a bounce out of this zone? And when we start seeing multiple areas like this, where you have one sell-off, another one, then it's all about, like, you know, there's multiple range, like within one range, there's multiple areas where we can see an exchange of money. And these examples, I do like to take them, but I'll just have a conservative exit. So for example, let's say we were to take a bounce out of like here, right? Let's just say this was going to be a case. Then I wouldn't really take this too far. These are the kind of trades where you can get a good bounce, but you might not get the best risk reward. And I would only take something like this if if we're going to get risk reward, that's going to be worth it. So right now we saw the market, work as support right here, comes flying back up. Can I get some profit out of this in here? Yeah, I think so. We can get a pretty decent move within this. I don't need anything too crazy. 2R looks like it would be more than enough. So yeah, right now we're looking at a massive difference. It's been a minute, 90 seconds after New York open. Clearly, Dow is on a mission to go to the upside here. NASDAQ pushed down first, then is also climbing back up. And if we look at ES, similar, right? S&P played out of the imbalance and then moved up a little bit higher. So now that they're all moving to the upside, which one of these has an opportunity for a short? I would not look to sell Dow. Dow has London and Tokyo and New York highs just around the same areas. So this looks like an easy liquidity capture event. Like this could easily clear all of the sellers over here. Easily. Maybe we get something like this. Possibility. Maybe. Not saying I would trade this, but that's could be an option. And then on the other hand, we have, there we go. Let's see, let me add this. Where is our sessions indicator here? Come on. We have similar New York, Tokyo, London. And if we look at NASDAQ here, and we look at this on a smaller scale, smaller time frame, we see momentum pick up here. Not too long ago. Picks up, takes out the London highs, up into this range. NASDAQ worked its way up to here. Here's where we have to consider, do we consider this liquidity? Is it worth looking for a sell here? Or does this look like equal highs? So taking a short out of this area is definitely carries risk. It lowers the probability of success because there's liquidity here. So as much as maybe the market would reject this zone, it's also likely that the market could want to push beyond this high as well. Especially, the only thing going for this, for a sell with NASDAQ, is the fact that it's the most bearish of everything. Like Dow is trading way up here. We're way, way, way up in the zone here with Dow, whereas NQ is just chilling way down here. But either way, there's a lot of liquidity building up over here. So in my opinion, I think we still have motive for price to take out these highs. And the way that the market has set up now, as a matter of fact, is kind of gearing up to potentially give us another buy scenario with Dow, because we see a liquidity sweep to start things off, clearing London lows, filling in balance, and then from here we immediately push towards the high. So we just might have a buying scenario here with Dow. Here's where we have the New York open. So right beforehand, we push down and then we rip to the upside. So we see something like this happen first. So we see Dow take the low. And then we obviously, after sellers are induced into here, buyers are taken out, we then see the market go crazy. Can you look at gold? Yeah, I can look at gold for sure. I was there just hiding behind Karen. What's up, Jay? Un abrazo, Igle. What's up, Greg? Ma, hello, hello. Jose Rizo, Monica. All right, guys. So, yeah, right now we have a couple ideas. Here. I have a feeling we could see these highs get taken out because we're building up liquidity now. Look at this. Now Dow is just creating resistance, it's luring in sellers. I think we're going to clear these highs. That's going to be the real. That's going to give us the real intention on whether are we just seeking to clear liquidity or are we going to look? Are we looking to just create a bullish structure? And there's a lot of imbalance over here with Dow. A lot of imbalance trading up to this area. So to me, it kind of looks like a no-brainer. And I still have a NASDAQ short from way over here. From this part of town. This was August 19th. So we saw a nice push to the upside here. And then it just melted. We haven't gotten to that pricey point yet. So still have that marked up. And then on the other hand here we go. All right. So just like that, we're seeing Dow take out the highs. Took out London highs, Tokyo highs. So liquidity has been swept. This is now where we start to learn a lot about what the market wants to do. What does it actually want to do? So is this a liquidity capture and that's it? From here it could lose momentum and then the market could shift from bullish to bearish. Is it going to continue to trade here? So for example, are we going to see more, kind of a bit more of this sideways movement? And then do we look for buys? Or does it lose momentum quickly? And instead of creating bullish demand and proving and showing like, oh no, this is totally bullish. Instead of doing something like that, then we could see a completely different type of trade. So yeah, we'll see right now. This is the moment of truth. Meanwhile, look at this. NASDAQ just doesn't, no chill whatsoever. So will NQ find something to trade out of? So if I were to choose anything to do right now, it would be to wait on Dow and then take a position down here, especially if we keep our structure up here. No, I'm not in any trades right now. No, I'm waiting, sitting. So I was asked about gold. There's this idea that was talked about yesterday, all the way down here, that has some potential. This was brought up by Jared. So we could see an idea here. We would want to also compare this to silver. Silver, on the other hand, though, trading a lot more bearish. When this wants to push higher, it really struggles to stay up there. So right now, it kind of just looks more like bearish trend line is liquidity is building up to the downside here constantly. So just, yeah, staying pretty much patient on this. Gold is creating more and more proof for a bullish environment, whether it's going to be playing out of here or playing down here in the future. So, yeah, originally we kind of failed to get the demand, but then obviously the market continued to rally, and then we were for sure, seeing higher highs on this time frame. Now zooming in a little more. Zooming in a little more here, we see, going to gold in the smaller time frame. Gold kind of accumulating, saw another push down, taking out these lows, and then it moved to the upside. So if you're a small time frame trader with gold, I could see a buy playing out of here. I don't trade gold really on the 1 minute. I just haven't built the data to do this consistently. I would have at least wanted to see a break above this 5 minute structure to confirm just that we're bullish here. So this is what I would have wanted to see first. A high above here. Didn't quite get that. So for now, I'm staying out of the market with gold on the small time frames. I do see, like I mentioned it here just now, I see opportunities though, zooming out a little bit more. So let's see here. Let me go ahead and add gold to the list, the setups. What else we got? Gold. All right, indices are they're moving. Dow Jones still bullish, still trading up here. Nasdaq doing the exact opposite. Still pushing down. Pushing down now. As soon as it drops down to here, it's kind of eating up the imbalance. So now there, for example, if we go to the 1 minute, because this is kind of the price action that I want to see is, are we moving it together? Clearly here we've been moving in opposite directions basically the whole time. Nasdaq started to move sideways. Dow is moving sideways. And then once Dow starts to push higher, Nasdaq still stayed the same. While the last few minutes, Dow Jones goes up. Nasdaq keeps coming down. This is one of those scenarios where when price action is moving in opposite directions, they kind of play out independently. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bounce from Nasdaq out of this zone. This type of trade does play out where it's like Nasdaq just starts trading its own thing. It doesn't really move along Dow. The downside happens, and this also we can see happen, is where, for example, looking at how bullish Dow Jones is right now, if we start to get the pullback on Dow, then what we've seen in the past is sometimes they start to line up together again, and then we'll just see Nasdaq continue to bleed and work its way even lower. So this is definitely my least favorite price action, and when they're kind of moving in opposite directions. So right now, first thing we got was we just got to see Dow play all the way up into this range over here where we had a pretty strong bullish candle before the market just went ahead and dropped. Right here. I'm not looking to sell anything considering how bullish Dow is, and let's say NQ wants to come catch up, it could just keep driving Dow Jones even higher. Plus we have some equal highs up here. But if you guys wanted me to look at this and dive into like what's going on over here, here's how we see the market play out. Saw it, big move up, comes back down, lures in buyers, creates equal highs, and then leaves a little bit of an imbalance. But you see more of the story on the 1 minute versus the 5 minute here, and then definitely versus the 15. Kind of can't see everything I just showed you. So I'm not going to force anything there. Just kind of going to wait this out. But now NQ is trading in this zone. If I was only going to trade Nasdaq and not pay attention to anything else, then I would say like this is a buy scenario. The problem with that is if Dow wants to drop, if Dow wants to continue to push lower, which it very easily could, that could drive NASDAQ lower. But considering how the whole time Dow has been going up and NQ has been going down, this might flip-flop where when NQ goes up here, if it goes up, then down might go down. So, yeah, this is definitely my least favorite market conditions because it is, let's say, there's less certainty than I usually have with my setups. Yeah, that's basically it. So with these kind of scenarios, either it's a half risk type of situation or it's I just stay out of it. We'll see. There's a massive gap between both of these. So I do have a feeling that this NQ play is going to bounce and run. And then then the market can kind of end up meeting in the middle. So if you're feeling like you could have a decent opportunity here out of NQ, then, be my guest at this point. I think it could play out. But it's not an A+ setup for me, at least. That's as far as I'll say. Like, it's not an A+ setup, but it's not a bad setup. See, look at that. Look at how now we're losing momentum, and then NQ is gaining momentum. So they're moving in inverse correlated, like, so they're an opposite, right? They have opposites here, and so if you did decide to take NQ, looks like here we go. It was about a 30-point drop. This is now pumped about 30 points. So if you took the buy, I'd say go break even or reduce your risk, worst case, and then now we can kind of see these. Looks like they're going to end up meeting in the middle somewhere over here, because this is trading way beyond these highs, and then this is trading way below everything. So nice, decent play so far. All right, let me look at the chat. Did anyone just go with the NQ longs? Stayed out. Cool. So we got the bounce, right? Like I said, the goal here, what you don't want to do is marry the trade. So at least with my trade rules, we already saw the exchange of money. So the way we saw it reject, since money comes in to push the market down, that's how my perspective works on the buy. The minimum the market would give us would be the move down. So if we saw a 30-point drop, the minimum the market would exchange money would be about 30 points up. That's why after that, I'm not looking for anything else. I'm not here to force any more moves or anything. So this trade should have ended up at break even if you took it. I didn't take this trade, but it did give you the bounce. So at this point here, and this is how people end up giving so much money back to the market, because you take a trade and then you force yourself, you tell yourself, like, no, it's got to keep going, even if your rules tell you, like, you don't really need to be in this anymore. So this specific example, not the one. It would have, at least for me, had this been everything lined up, that would have been a break-even trade, and that's a wrap. Now what we're seeing still, Dow, after a huge aggressive move to the upside, starting to work its way down. We'll see what type of what this evolves into, because the way it goes up and the way it's coming down, not the biggest proof that we're that bullish, to be honest. See progress made. I was thinking of shorting Dow at those local highs. Normally, I would think I'll outsmart Mike and sneak a cheeky 2-1 here and lose my ass. A no trade for the W. Nice. Yeah, and you know, that's when we're, instead of trading our like impulses, we're just like, all right, well, there'll probably be something else later, and if not, then something tomorrow. So good stuff. Took it, goes a little above break even. Okay, cool. Nice. All right, so next up would be the bottom zone, right? We could see a lower opportunity here on NQ. I'm still not really looking to take too much on NASDAQ, considering that if they're both now going to be, because now the markets could be dropping together. So if we start to notice that they're on the same page, and when Dow goes down, NASDAQ goes down, then we definitely want to be more mindful of where the market wants to go. So that's between Dow and NQ. Let's go take a look at S&P here. Yes. Push down. Took the lows. Someone said, is this a shakeout? No. Because we already broke above these highs and then and didn't keep really structure here. So as quickly as we went up, we also came back down. So we took the lows. The market tries to get higher, fails to get up to here. So I won't be pursuing any S&P trades. Yeah, I'm not looking to do anything there. Okay. What was this? Okay, so remember this gold idea that we had, right? Where I said I could see gold bouncing out of this zone. I would have preferred to see a higher high on the 5-minute. It did give us a higher high on the 1 minute. And then right now, yeah, we were getting the bounce out of this area. Like I said, I only didn't take this because I don't have a ton of 1 minute time frame data. Like indices trade the 1 minute really nicely. Gold, I just don't trade it that often on a small time frame like this to have had the conviction. But that's why I marked it up, so that I could start to see how frequently these kind of plays would or wouldn't work. But this has now mitigated. So let's say if you did decide to take a gold buy down here, I would say stop at break even. Makes sense. I mean, this is only up like 20 pips, so this is nothing crazy. Yeah, so stop to break even if you took gold. But I that wasn't an official trade from me, at least. Now this one's a little disappointing, right, for NASDAQ, because you're like, man, I managed my trade and I got stopped out break even for managing it the right way. In these examples, take the W, take the win. What was the win? The win was that you did what you were supposed to. That's it. There's countless of other trades where if you would have, think about all the times where you didn't move your stop when you were supposed to and you ended up taking a loss for it. Because right now, in order to grow as a trader, you don't grow as a trader by just, kind of getting lucky with wins. You grow as a trader by building the muscle of following exactly what your system and your data tells you to do. That's the way. So I wouldn't be too overly, bitter about if you got stopped out break even and then it ran for, I don't know, another 30 points or something. Okay. Now, moving on to some other ideas over here. I know you guys sent some charts. So let's see here. We have, what's up, Gabriel? I think, what is this? Antonio? Had this marked up on USDCHF originally, had the bigger zone, but narrowed it down to the smaller zone because it stalls out, then sweeps the highs on the lower time frame. Now price gave this fraction of my original zone. All right. Play out of here. Dropped. Then this took out liquidity. Interesting. Okay. So you were looking at a play out of this, right? Let's look at the smaller time frame. Yeah, I mean, I see it. It starts to sell off from here. So it starts to sell off from here. Find some support, like you mentioned, and then it pushes another wave down. This is where it starts to actually clear up more liquidity and then make its move. So if you were looking for a mitigation right from this zone on USD CHF, aka 6S, then this would have fallen short. And I understand your idea. And this is the market recovering Friday's movement. I think it's still valid if you're looking at this just kind of on its own. Yeah, I get it fully. You had other ideas that are pretty similar, got pretty close. So I think it's worth waiting for a little longer. See if it gets down there. A lot of these other ideas already have been, pushing down to that level. Of course, CAD futures, so USD CAD is nowhere near this yet. So that could definitely be another idea, would be taking a buy on 6C. So look at the difference here. Things can change, but that's definitely an idea down there. It's the same kind of move. Okay, so, whoa, oil had a huge dump down to here, back into structure, ate that thing up. Said nah. So this showed that there's definitely, like, when price came down to here, there's buyers. There's still buyers in the game. Okay. So this is giving a bit more and more proof for this buy scenario on Dow. The way that it dropped back into structure and then just bounced like that, that's a good sign that Dow really does want to stay more on the bullish side. I think we can work our way down here later in the day. Seems like NQ, NASDAQ is going to stay slightly more bearish. Now, looking at how the market's been moving here, there's liquidity up here with like CAD futures, and there's a possible sell here on Australian. So I think you guys have probably noticed this. You saw this huge move up with AUD USD 6A takes the highs. Clean right here. Clean. I think we could see a short there. We could have a sell idea out of here. I just want to see how the rest of the market overall is going to move. What do you think about oil shakeout? I didn't look at anything for an oil sell. Oil shakeout. I don't see an oil shakeout at all. I don't really see anything here. So we see oil pumps up and then drops. It doesn't make lower lows. And then when it comes up to here, let's see. It takes out a high from here, I guess. There was a little bit of resistance. Fills in some imbalance. But I still see more imbalance it could fill. There's another higher target here. So there's still more incentive, at least in my opinion, for the market to go higher. Typically, I want to see, like, if we get a move, I want to see the market clear out a lot of liquidity. Should be tons of orders or even an entire session worth of highs or lows or two. So I'm not looking for sells. I don't think it's a terrible trade. I see what you mean, because it took the highs, it dropped, and then it traded down here for, I don't know, 30 minutes. But when it makes the move to the upside, what it liquidates is a pretty minimal amount for shorts. So yeah, I just feel like there's more incentive for it to go higher. So I would personally stay out. To go back right to this idea here from now, the reason I'm interested in this is because this is an Asian session specific moment. So you had yesterday's CPI. So if we were to get the market up into the zone, this isn't going to look like anything else because, well, pound doesn't really move like that during Asian session. NZD a little bit, but it's just not going to be the same. So yeah, I think that Australian idea, this one can make sense. It might even trigger during an Asian session as well. So I have this one on the radar. Gonna go ahead and share this here with here in the setups section. And then where can we take this to? Kind of depends on what this looked like, because this played down below these lows for a good, honestly, a few hours. So we could still keep pushing further down. So I might be interested in a short, out of this range over here where we've seen some highs before. This would be a tight setup. Talking about like less than 7 pips or something. And then taking it here, maybe even taking it lower. So it could be a pretty solid trade. If I zoom out a little more, let's see here. We got pretty efficient up here. Could play out. We'll see. Daniel, ¿qué tienes aquí? Alibaba squeezing. Could play out of here. Yeah, I could see that. I could see this. Okay. Are these the all-time highs on Alibaba up here? Because even going for like a 40% gain is, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, so that honestly covers a lot. We've had, wow, so our original sell from peso making moves. just bleeding out. So for my people going to Mexico here in the near future, this is good for you, yeah? You said gold shakeout? All right, let's take a look at it. I don't think so. Where are you seeing that? Can you drop a chart, Nora? Gold shakeout. You're saying this here? Clears the low, quickly works its way back up. Doesn't really trade up here too long though, and comes back down. No, I'm cool. I'd rather not. I think silver also creating liquidity could push towards that. Yeah, I'm good on gold. It's like not clean or anything to me. Sol. So let's take a look at crypto, how this is playing out. Sol's playing nicely. It really bounced super well from these lower zones right over here. Was short of where I would have wanted to take something. ETH did make its way down to here though. So ETH made its move down, has rallied. Bitcoin similarly broke below, rallying again. So if we start to zoom out a little bit, price action, we filled in balance over here into 109, 108 Monday, and then as soon as we broke below, so when we break below, we bounce right back, and then we get below, we come right back up again. So as I'm looking at this on the daily time frame, it's looking more and more like this break below the daily low. This was more of a liquidity capture, or at least the 4-hour low was more of a liquidity capture than it was creating bearish structure. Look at it with ETH, very similar. Sol, like we're not seeing lower lows anywhere else. And then if you want to take a look at the market cap, so if instead of thinking like, oh, what's Bitcoin doing, but you want to think, what's the market doing? Like, what is the crypto market in general averaged out? What is this looking like? It's looking like the market took out the lows to then rip. Total market cap, if you consider ETH, or if you take out Bitcoin and just look at ETH and everything else, textbook mitigation, took the low, bounced. With total 3, same thing. Well, if you look at just the altcoin market, clears the lows and then instantly rallies. This is what that shakeout setup could have been like. So I feel pretty bullish on the market overall. I think that if I was going to add more to my portfolio, I like virtual right now as a buy. If we just get back to where we were in May, you're looking at a 2x. And this isn't a small market cap coin. It's not like tiny by any means. So I think this one has a lot of room to run for sure. Like, Chainlink's super bullish, so that this is not something I would want to pick up right now. If you're in there, then you're already in there. Awesome. But if not, then right now, yeah, I think virtual, dog, these are like, this right now to me is like, we're about to see an explosion. So that's just my take. XRP probably gives a decent 10, 15, 20% jump here just in the next couple weeks. Ondo, this is one of those projects that could easily double within the next couple months. So yeah, that's just some perspective. If you guys are trading, like let's say you're just in and out of the markets, one of the projects that does the best is KeyCat. This is a small coin. Like this is a small coin. This is on like Coinbase's network base. But this you'll see happen all the time. This thing will pump up 100%, pump up 200%, pump up 100%. So when you get big pumps here, even if you're doing like $100 and then you let it rip, now you got 200, pumps back down. You just make sure you just actually wait for retracements, and then you get it to do it again. So just kind of every 2 weeks, it gives us a pump. It's actually kind of hilarious. I didn't notice this, but like you can basically average an entry around like 0.035, and then you'll get, that was a 200% move. Let's say you just did it again, and even if you got a bad entry, it did another 150% move, dip down again, you got an entry here, you got another move, dip down again, you got another entry here, you got another move. So I mean yeah, wildin'. Okay, NQ to pump today, then die out during lunch. Omar, I could see that. I could definitely see that. We just might get this to work its way up, and then maybe we see a sell-off after it takes out Tokyo highs. Could definitely see that. What I'm going to add right now is a possible buy scenario on Dow here. So this is, I'm going to add to the list for possible ideas. I got 3 zones that I have marked up here that could be useful to us. So here we go. So here is YM, aka Dow US 30. So YM here. Multiple zones that we can see reversals from. This would be the first, considering that we've been bullish up here for the last 40 minutes. So definitely confirming its bullish structure. All right, so yeah, I'm not going to go too deep into crypto. I know not everyone here is into crypto, and I mean, a lot of these coins are actual just bullshit, you know, like they're literally useless. Like they're not actually useful for anything. It's just like, so, that's my perspective on a lot of things, to be honest. It's like, I'm not buying or selling this. I'm not trading this because I have all the belief in the world that it's going to change the world or be something incredible. I believe other people are going to get into this at higher prices than I am. And how you look at that could be based off of several reasons. But in the crypto space, it's like, how do we perceive the rest of the market? How do we perceive bigger money coming into this? And then the technicals align with those things. So that's that concept of, that's why like smart money is just understanding the psychology of smaller players and bigger players. That's what smart money is. Chronos up 215%. Sweet. Yeah, so it looks like a lot of the Sol network is starting to move its way up. Jup finally breathing. Jupiter is is a coin that thankfully I took some profit on last year, and I think it's a great, like the actual business of Jupiter is great, but the tokenomics kind of suck. So unless that changes, yeah, I'm gonna probably cash out on this. I think we're gonna see a big move because we've been moving sideways for like 6 months. So I think we'll see a huge move, and on that move though, I only have a small bit left. I'm gonna cash out. So, but anyways, moving on. Winners of the day on the stock side, Peloton, RPD, SMA, Starbucks. Not a whole bunch going on there. Loser of the day, Etsy, Celsius, which makes sense. We had to hit our exit points there. So our solar play, ENPH here, still growing here. And then we have, let's see, Webull, still chilling. Kyndryl's starting to bounce. So if anyone took this entry with me, we're not up a ton, but it looks like 7% so far. Also, I will announce I did take profit on Tesla. I took profit on Tesla yesterday. So if you took this with me, we got an entry in earlier this year. So I'm taking my profits here at about 50%, a little over. And not because I don't think this can go higher, but the difference from this going just up to here is only another 14% or so. And I'd rather use this liquidity for a new project. I already did 50%. So it just takes a lot more to get just to squeeze a bit more out of this. So yeah, I took my profits and then I cycled that into a smaller market cap play, like with KD. I actually took an entry yesterday here, so averaging out a little under 30 still. Yeah, so I took my profits on Tesla. Not that I don't think it can keep going higher. I think it totally can. But for the sake of just kind of getting more out of that. Yeah. So okay. All right, let's get back to the trading side of things. Dow chopping up. And Q now is really starting to rally. Oof, this one stings a little, huh? Some of y'all might be a little upset with this one here. This one, it's a little rough. I get it. Okay, so Dow now, and it's kind of what I talked about, where now they're looking to play catch up. So we did have it right though. Once we had extremes, once Dow had liquidated way up here, and then once NASDAQ had also taken out the lows and was coming down to a mitigation zone, now we're seeing NASDAQ aggressively pushing higher while Dow is kind of just really not doing a whole bunch, just kind of ranging. Yep, and NASDAQ stayed in on my first play. Nice, guilty. Yeah, and remember, you just have to frame this. So if you got tagged out break even, reduce risk, or in profit or whatever, what's the point, right? What's the point of trading in the stage that you're at right now? It's to build confidence. So one, you directionally nailed it. But the second thing is, you need to build confidence in how you manage your trade and what is it worth? Is it worth having that type of trade management? Because one trade that goes your way, it makes you feel like, okay, should I be managing it differently? Now, if this happens to you often enough and you have the data that's like, all right, I'm actually starting to miss out on profits. Like I could be more profitable. So let's say, for example, over the course of the last 50 trades, and you're keeping track of your trade management, and you notice, okay, my trade management has saved me from some losses, but I've also missed out on, let's say it saved you from losing minus 5R or minus 10R, but it also cost you from making 20R, then you might need to adapt or, find a new way to adjust your stop. And it needs to be something that's duplicatable. So, but the key thing is, especially if you're in evidence building, confidence building phase in your trading, it's really not about proving that you can that, or like, you know, getting closer to passing, or, you know, actually making money. You're in the process of building yourself as a trader. So there should be way more priority on building yourself as a trader rather than anything else. Yeah. And I know it's annoying and no one wants to hear that. It's easier to be like, it's easier to feel bad because that's our brains telling us winning a trade and losing a trade is all that matters. And in my opinion, what means the most is how much power do you have over yourself and your reactivity. And then second, is this trade going to matter next week? Probably not. Badass trade though. So you guys, I mean, we had it marked up. We saw it happen. This, let's say, and I wouldn't have been in this trade either though. Like this reacted, dipped down one more time right here, and then ran. So this would have tagged me out and I would have missed this whole move too. So there is no like, oh, I couldn't have made that because I wouldn't have been in it. It would have stopped me out break even. And yeah, I mean, and Daniel, bro, I think it was Daniel. You nailed it. I think you were saying shake out here. And so what did S&P do? S&P pulled back one more time. And I guess maybe that was the warning. So check this out. This is pretty interesting. Look at this. So that last push down on NASDAQ that we had here was just the final move down that S&P needed to make. Look at that. That S&P needed to make into this imbalance. So this allowed ES to mitigate, and then the market was ready to go. Super interesting how it played out that way. Really interesting. Okay, so S&P officially took out the highs, the liquidity. So this is now efficient. Market's ripping. Takes out the highs. NASDAQ's lagging behind everything, including Dow. So now we're getting into the territory where is this the short? Is this a shakeout play? The market did what? Clears the highs, loses the momentum, starts to trade down here, luring in buyers, luring in buyers, luring in buyers. NASDAQ rips to the upside, way up here. So this goes on its rampage. Just going up and up and up. So this picks up way more bullish momentum. NASDAQ still hasn't taken out these highs. The only downside to Dow with looking for a short is that when the market works its way down here for a few minutes, looks like just about 20 minutes, after it goes up, then comes down, we get down to this area. So here we go. We get over to here. This is a break retest. So this is luring in buyers. This is luring in tons of buyers. Break and retest. So this is definitely a form of liquidity right over here. There is a lot of buying happening over here right now. Tons. Price action, look at the difference here. NASDAQ just goes hyperbolic. Dow chilling. So I could see Dow shorting from here. It has tons of liquidity to take out. I could see the market go from here. I feel like Nasdaq's going to keep pushing a little bit higher. So I wonder if that's going to allow Dow Jones to stay in this range, or if it pokes up above one more time as well. So I'm curious. I'm really curious. Right now, Nasdaq's feeling in balance. So if Nasdaq, for example, has two options, either it's going to trade out of this imbalance and push lower, or it's going to take out these highs too. Because it has not only does it have the Asian highs and over here, but we have liquidity up here. So I could see the market push a little bit up to this range, and depending on what that looks like, I think we could see a massive short from there. And from what I'm seeing, it honestly looks like Dow doesn't even want to wait at all for Nasdaq to even get up into this range and just drop anyways. But I do think that we could see a sell on Dow Jones here soon, because Dow already took out that high, came back down, lured in. Oh, this looks a lot different actually. Okay, hold on. YM, it looks a little. I didn't even realize I was looking at the micro. So it poked down to here. It still made equal lows. So a little break and retest. Stayed trading down here. Came back up into this zone. Yeah. We might see Nas take out these highs and then want to push down again. And I wonder if that'll do something like this. So to, again, give you guys the psychology of this idea, you had the break, retest, this lures in buyers, and plus the market was not really here very long. So we see the market lose the momentum very quickly. Following up with this, we see Nasdaq pick up way more momentum, go extremely bullish, while Dow just kind of chills out after it gets up into this area right over here. So I could see it. I think I would have wished to see Dow a bit more bearish for a little bit longer. But even when we came back up here again, like, we quickly lost that momentum. So I like the idea for Dow shorts. It's like, how can you position yourself? Short, sold that. Who took Nas? Yeah, we talked about Nas. Well done, Matthew. Good stuff. I think I missed your post. I don't know if it was in here. Here we go. Yeah, we had the same markup. When you're marking up, take a look at it without the micro. So look at it on NQ. You're going to have a bit more precise data feed. But yeah, and did you take your exit a little early? Cool. Nice. Well done, man. Good stuff. Let's get it. What's up, Rod? Okay, so Dow still moving on down. Here we saw that last push up before we are starting to build up more and more down here. So like I said, I think we can get, I don't want to chase an entry because I didn't pull the trigger yet. I want to see if we're going to get Nasdaq to clear these highs. Because it's going to be two things, right? Either the market rebalanced and then now it's going to drop. Considering all the liquidity that it has here, I do think we can clear this first. I have a lot of patience, and I just don't really care to force it. So, um, wait. Okay, let's see. That gold trade ripped, huh? Boom. Nora, you had it. Right there. This thing absolutely ripped. Okay, so this is good. This gives us data that at least small time frame gold plays, at least this one, can play out, which is good. Now I'm gonna just keep building up more and more data on whether 1 minute setups are worth taking on their own or not. But right now, not bad. Not bad. This kind of setup was, I mean, this is tight. This is like 15 pip stop. And right now it's running 80 pips in profit. So that puts this trade at over a 5R. Yeah, that's solid. Solid. All right, so let's see if this is going to take out this liquidity up here or not. Imbalance fill at the moment, definitely playing out well. That last push up here before we got the huge imbalance. So this lures in buyers, but it also sets up for triple top sells, like, retail selling up here. That's why I have this feeling like I don't want to. Well, one, I'm not going to short NAS right now, but there's just the probability of a win goes down when you have liquidity in the way. So I'd rather wait and get a better probability at a win. Now, you guys don't have to trade like me. If you're okay with having a slightly lower win rate, but you're also hitting trades maybe more frequently, then cool. Like play that card. You know what I mean? All right. Well, I'm going to sign off here, guys. What we're going to do here, and I'm going to announce something huge for all of you. Considering where we're at with just the space and yesterday being a very bullish day overall on the prop firm side of things, especially in the U.S. So I am going to announce a special promotion that will end. It will end going into. It'll end September 1st, and so in light of FTMO coming back to the U.S., what I'm going to be offering is for anyone that joins the syndicate from now and September 1st, and that's if you scan the code on the right. For anyone, well, first just book the call and see if you're qualified, see if it makes sense for you. Remember, this is over 150 interactive lessons that you watch, learn from, the exercises you do, and on top of that, all of the interactive sessions we host together. It's broken up into 4 phases, and you have to graduate to get to the next one. So it's very serious. But anyways, this is for people that are already, you've been trading. You're not here just to see if it's for you or if it's real. Like, you already know what this is. So book a call. And for those that do, only for those that book a call and are qualified and do join, I will be buying your first FTMO account after you pass within the syndicate. After you graduate phase 1, I will be getting you your first FTMO account. So only for people who do that and join before September 1st, I want to be the one that, because you're not qualified to do it, because you're now more prepared to, I want to be the one that gets you that first funded account. And and we can, you know, do the challenge together, which is going to be epic. So scan the code on the right, learn more about it. Even if you're not sure if it's right for you yet, but you are very serious and committed, just book the call, have a conversation, see if it makes sense for you. But yeah, from now till September, so you only have a few days. But believe it, and I mean, I'm sure the syndicate members here in the chat will tell you, very much worth being in the syndicate, in the group right now. So guys, much love. I'll leave you to it. I'm going to be dropping actually a YouTube video today regarding the state of the industry, FTMO in general, what it all really means and what's happening moving forward. And yeah, super stoked. So I'll leave you guys to it. Appreciate you all. Let's get it. We'll be back at it again tomorrow, folks.
Tell me, will you still love me if the world ends? When you are not around, things get so pointless. I'm crazy, I can't control it cause it's feeling straight.
Yo, if you're still with me here right now, real quick, I just saw that we had an alert go off on oil. It just missed my entry here by like a hair. The move to the upside was about 20 something pips. So we started like right there. Yeah. It's about 28 pips. It looks like this thing is going to drop without us. That would be really sad. I would cry. Let's see. If it does come back up, or even within the range over here, could be worth just taking a shot at it. Just wanted to give you guys an update that it's in there. If maybe you got triggered in, so that way you can be better positioned to manage it. But yeah, just missed me. But anyways, guys, that's it. I just noticed that. I figured some of you might still be on. But yeah, with that being said, all right, later, guys. Peace.